Good afternoon to everyone. I want to express my gratitude to BMO, which has been such a great partner in the city of Chicago for the state of Illinois, and just they've been not only great corporate citizens, but also contributors to the community, and that's made all the difference for us. So thank you very much, and thanks again to Kimberley. It's really a pleasure to be here to celebrate the storied relationship between not just Canada and the United States, but specifically Canada and Illinois. But as a leader of the greatest state in the United States, the land of Lincoln, I might add, and as one more representative of the United States of America here at this great summit, let me thank you all for your continued dedication to this tremendously important bond between two nations. I want to also express my gratitude, of course, to Eurasia Group, to BMO, to all the folks who've really made this a terrifically successful summit. Our strong and lasting alliance between our two nations is a testament to our shared values. Justice, equality, opportunity are just three of the characteristics that I think define the relationship and shared values that we have. For 2 centuries now, the United States and Canada have been powerful forces on the world stage for these principles and have leveraged our combined strength to spread peace and democracy across the world and to work together for the benefit of both of our nations. The relationship between Canada and Illinois, of course, dates back even further than that 200 years. Towns across Illinois, Cahokia, Bourbonnais, St. Anne, Manteno, towns in our state, owe their heritage to those early Canadian migrants. Now, over 200 years later, those bonds have strengthened mightily for Illinois and Canada, and have, of course, both countries have a deep commitment to the shared prosperity, sustainability, and equal opportunity for both nations. And that level of growth could not have happened without a shared set of values, a focus on prosperity for all of our people. Canada is, of course, Illinois' largest trading partner, and we've had overall bilateral trade reaching $92 billion just a year ago. Illinois ranks first in imports from Canada and fourth in exports among U.S. states, a testament to how interconnected our supply chains have become. And this relationship is still prospering and growing. In the past 15 years, Illinois' exports to Canada have increased over 100%, with a 30% increase in 2023 alone. Over that same 15-year period, imports increased 184%, a clear signal of the compatibility of our economies. More than 370 Canadian companies are resident and operating in the state of Illinois, employing over 32,000 Illinoisans in sectors from clean energy to finance to frozen food. Companies like BMO and McCain Foods and Lion Electric have given us a strong foundation to build on. But I really wanted to speak to you today about what I think is the next chapter of our relationship. Since I became governor in 2019, Illinois has undergone a significant transformation, economically, culturally, and in governance. I inherited a state, honestly, that was plagued with fiscal challenges that had held us back, our economy, our communities, for far too long. But I immediately undertook a comprehensive approach to not just rectifying the mistakes of the past, but building for our future. Today, we have restored our fiscal health. I'm 5.5 years into office. We've had 9 credit upgrades. We've passed balanced budgets every year, just passed one about 2 weeks ago. That's different, by the way. That's not something other states brag about, because most states have passed balanced budgets all the time. Illinois hadn't done it for quite some time, so when I say that in Illinois, I get applause, just so you know. We also, I wasn't asking for it. I'm not Jeb Bush. I'm not asking for applause. we've also made $65 billion of infrastructure investments in Illinois schools and roads and rail and broadband and more. We've pushed our economy in the right direction, from technology to energy, from manufacturing to financial services. We're fostering a business-friendly environment and making strategic investments in education and workforce development to provide a sustainable framework for long-term growth. We're more inclusive and welcoming than ever before, fighting off regressive social policies of a kind of fringe minority in my state. We're a state now that proudly defends people's freedoms, women's rights, civil rights, voting rights, LGBTQ rights. You might say we've followed your lead here in Canada, in the state of Illinois. I was a businessman before I became governor. I was doing it in both manufacturing and technology, and I understand well the myriad factors that inform a decision to invest or expand in any given state. So I have set out to make Illinois a more attractive state. Indeed, I'm competing to become the most attractive state in the United States, to give companies around the world the incentives and the proper environment to put down roots. And in just the last 5 years, we've grown the Illinois economy to over $1 trillion. And just to put that in some context for many of you, that makes us the 5th largest economy among the 50 U.S. states. It also means that if we were an independent country, we'd be the 19th largest economy in the world, which would make us a member of G20. I hope we don't have to declare independence in order to get that status. We are the #1 state in the U.S., in the Midwest, for job creation, and have been ranked recently by CNBC as the 2nd best state in my country for infrastructure and the 2nd best state in my country for education. Illinois has the top 2 business schools in the U.S., and we produce more engineers at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign each year than Harvard, MIT, and Caltech combined. On average, last year, a new business moved to Illinois or expanded operations in my state every single day. In fact, more than 500 companies moved to Illinois last year in total. With the largest nuclear energy production in the United States, we are a net energy exporter in Illinois, and we have the 3rd most resilient electric grid among the states. That's important for many industries that you all represent, but in particular for anything in the technology world being up kind of 24/7, 99.9% of the time. That's hugely important, and that's something that we strive for all the time, and we're going to continue to invest in that. And that's just the beginning. We are at the precipice of, I think, something much bigger. We have made it our specific mission to attract the jobs and industries of the future. Now, you may hear politicians say that a lot, but this is a big transformation for my state, and we are taking leaps and bounds ahead. I remember many years ago, the first time I traveled to China, and the discussion was about how China's cell phone network was so much better than the one in the United States, because essentially they had just leapfrogged ahead in technology and put it all in kind of the newest technology, leaving us a little bit in the dust at the time. Well, that's been my focus for the state of Illinois. That is to kind of leapfrog to the extent that we missed out on something and try to get ahead of the rest. One of the industries that I've focused on in that regard is quantum computing. I'm not going to bore you with a layman's explanation of quantum superposition or qubits or quantum entanglement, because I probably wouldn't do it as well as somebody else would. But know that quantum, I think all of you may know this already, has the potential to revolutionize, well, really every industry. And it'll unlock a world of possibility in energy and medicine, finance, and so much more. We set out to make ourselves in Illinois the leading U.S. hub for quantum computing. We did so not just through incentives or tax breaks, which we also have provided for that industry. But by building up an entire quantum ecosystem of research and development, finance, manufacturing, we brought together quantum leaders that already existed in our state, but we sought to really bring them closer together. And that's the University of Chicago, the University of Illinois, Northwestern, Argonne, Fermilab. We have 2 national laboratories in Illinois, and so many others. And then, along with them, IBM, Google, and a quantum startup ecosystem that's driving real success. Some of that came out of an initial investment that I made back in 2019 when I first became governor, committing $200 million to the sector. That's unusual for a state, you might know. In fact, I was proud to say that when I went to my first National Governors Association meeting, the delegation from California came up to me and said, "How did you get that done?" This is California telling Illinois. They had trouble they couldn't get it done in California, and we did it in Illinois. And it was just really, on my part, a recognition that the federal government needs to see that you're serious about this, and putting real money from the taxpayers of Illinois forward to match what the federal government, not one for one, but matching what the federal government was looking to. And indeed, we ended up getting more grants from the federal quantum endeavors in that year and the next year than any other state. And I'm proud of that. And then in our latest budget, we added $500 million to support and build a quantum computing campus in Chicago and the surrounding area. It'll be a place where public and private entities can come together to collaborate and innovate, not having to be joined at the hip with any particular one of our really great quantum research institutions like University of Chicago, University of Illinois. If you don't happen to be in their ecosystem, you don't have to join that one in order to come to Illinois and really participate in all of it. We invested in our research institutions, fighting for every federal dollar to stimulate quantum innovation. Billions in federal funding is now flowing into Illinois as a result of it, and we're also investing, very importantly, in our people, in our workforce, utilizing our top-tier universities to help build out the research and advanced manufacturing workforce. And then we have the 3rd largest community college system in the United States. And you know, quantum isn't all about the PhDs and the scientists at the very top of the food chain, so to speak, but it's also about all the opportunity that exists for lots of other kinds of engineers, but even below that, folks that can get vocational training or a community college degree that puts them squarely into the quantum workforce. So these are the types of sound investments that I think will power our future, whether it's quantum or electric vehicles, ag tech, clean energy, or life sciences. We've tried to position ourselves in the state of Illinois at the forefront of technological and economic progress. Now, if some of that sounds familiar to you, being in Ontario, it is. I mean, we are so much like the economy of Ontario and of Toronto. Our institutions, our focus on these industries, which we think can leapfrog us ahead. And that's why, you know, our relationship to Ontario and to the entire nation of Canada is so important. It's collectively our thriving business and technological ecosystems are an integral part of our collective future, and we think working together means we can accelerate that endeavor. To the many organizations and individuals, businesses represented in this room, I want to reaffirm my commitment once again to growing together and to solidifying the bonds that have kept us in cooperation for so many years. Our greatest challenges, from energy production to climate change to poverty to international conflict, will require us, with common values together, to work to leverage our combined strength to promote lasting peace and prosperity for all of our people. Illinois will remain a great partner, I think, to all of Canada. and to the businesses represented here and across this country. Economically and diplomatically, we think we can be an enormous assistance in advancing our common good as we face these challenges together. I want to make one final plug to all of you who are here in the audience to come visit our great state, come visit the city of Chicago, enjoy our natural beauty, our incredible food. You haven't tasted pizza if you haven't had Chicago pizza. And of course, the kindness and warmth of our people, because there's so much about Chicago that is so much like so many places across this great country of yours. So if you like it when you visit Chicago, I encourage you to come and build and grow a business there, and know that as long as I'm governor of our state, and I think longer too, my state will be a place that we can all thrive in. So thank you all for inviting me here and for your continued work to build a better bilateral future for all of us. Thank you.